There are a few things that wander across my mind and heart before I share a poem like this. This piece creates nerves because I don't deal with any light ongoings of life. I go deep into what's happening, and maybe there's even a little voice inside going, "Who am I to say something like this?" But I know who I am, so I remain unshaken and certain. And then I think, if no one says anything, it's how we remain like this and things become stagnant. I'm literally bearing my soul when I share this with you, and hopefully I'm in a safe environment. Martin Luther King Jr. once said something that stirred deeper parts of my being and confirmed we must do what makes us feel uncomfortable for the sake of change. When he said, "The ultimate tragedy is not the opposition and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people." You know, the path to freedom for all living inhabitants is never ending, and that can be daunting, but the reassurance is this: it's definitely happening. We are building bridges like never before. Our cries and our triumphs are heard all over the world. Freedom is ours, but it starts inside. It's within that we find the tools, ability, and power to change this and influence people, to ignite sparks and plant seeds in those we continuously meet. This path truly is never ending. There's a greater community out there too, supporting us and guiding our feet from behind the scenes, so to speak. This tragedy is beautiful, really. Even when we wade through the pain, anguish, and sorrow, we still always rise up with courage, passion, and love, with the trust in the transformation of tomorrow. Oftentimes you'll find I cry, and the hardened mind perceives me as too sensitive, and I am judged critically. But in this sensitivity, I can feel the world and ensure I don't become numb. So in this sensitivity, I am strong. Do you believe in magic? Because no amount of fear could succeed in binding me into a prism of limitations, a cage of boundaries, trying to spew out cobwebs to tangle me into a web of illusion, straight up confusion, dead ends and never-ending cycles. This concrete jungle could never stop me. My chakras spin with energy. I love all these vortexes within and inside. There's an ocean of creativity to swim through. I promise you, I never lie. My gift is truth. I dug through my own grave with my bare hands to find and unlock this, even when others kept on trying to smother me with their blindness. For a time I was fed a syrup of lies. The deceitfulness tasted so sweet it was a struggle to refuse and deny, almost a pleasure to give my power away for a while. But the sweetness began to disappear. Anxiety and despair arrived, standing next to me, pulling their ugly faces, yet I'm still laughing inside. This freedom cannot be overrun and hushed. I override their attempt to push me aside. No amount of false promises could tempt me or lead me astray from this path I'm creating. I believe in magic. Even in the gloomiest place, a green stem will shoot. This blossoming weed still marks its space. Earth is still here under this masquerade, breathing and beating her heartbeat. Can you feel this? Do you still feel at all? For there's a synthetic person that's walking undetected, choosing to be a modern-day consumer instead of a human being. You know, I'm tired. This constant drag of witnessing the masses sucked into their phones, drained and decomposed. Wait a minute. They literally convinced you to kill yourself whilst you're meant to still feel alive. A vibrant being comes along and listens to your complaints and gives you this advice. Go vegan. You laugh and think it's a joke. Look, we can get technical and scientific. Sure, since my intuition doesn't serve well enough to a person disconnected from the universe, and the left brain is in need of facts, of course, but wheat, dairy, meat subdue and suppress you. These foods lock you into a lower frequency that you can't move and rise from, stuck in the mud, but cancer's not a game anymore, and rampant, prevalent dis-ease is starting to look uneasy. However, ill health is certainly not a mystery, not to me, not to the ones listening. Sometimes words are too sharp. The truth hurts you when you're still shrouded in the dark. So I think if I write a letter, it would be easier to absorb and retain, like, "Dear friend, your unconscious ways is causing the world to suffer. Earth needs you to wake up and remember. You know that tale where you go back in time, and if you dare to touch that butterfly, the whole damn thing will be affected. The future you return to won't be the same. We'll be damned if we carry on like this. So for the millionth time, we are interconnected. You're not powerless, my friend. You can make a difference again. Sincerely yours, unconditional love, and a bit concerned friend of the earth. Yet these days, attention spans are falling so short that reading has become so difficult. Who would read my letter after all? You keep switching your brain off, leaving it to decay as you're enveloped every day by the by the big screen, projecting lies to your vision as you simmer with your drink, declare war on your liver, chew on flesh and dead carcass because you never stop and think, do you? Maybe, just possibly, your body needs to be taken care of and loved too. Your body and the earth are both waiting for you. In other types of lives, maybe one like mine, sometimes you talk too much, the truth is pouring out, you lose all your old friends, people tell you to shut up, they just can't handle a reality shake-up. But you know what? During the darkest night of my soul, in this abyss of solitude, I never gave up on myself. Thankfully, and I'm so thankful, I never listened to anyone else. But I did run. I ran into the arms and graces of Mother Nature. She whispers in my ears and hearts, directs my feet, a true leader. Her divine force wraps around me and keeps me warm in these cold altitudes of society. And still, in my days, where I'm singing songs so blue, her essence tingles around me. I remember, I'm reminded, I'm loved and you are loved too. Whatever happens to you, the sun's going to shine every sunrise no matter what. Here, take patience and persistence. Keep them close to you in your pocket. You'll need them your entire life. The closer you get to the divine, the more you become aligned. Is exactly when some friends will call your phone, knock on your door to deliver some distractions and change your mind, or be contagious with their amnesia. So you forget once more, what on earth are you here for? What would life be like without a phone? Can you imagine what living could be like if people stopped being drones? Lovers would meet for the first time. He would be compelled to take a risk to ensure he would find her again. Each meeting would be so alive. Immersion through true communication in the richest manner, every word would thrive. Why? Real appreciation and attention. We would never be late, respecting each other's time and existence. In other news, you could spend your entire life in school. Sit on your sweet ass between solid four walls for hours and hours. Attain your A grades, maybe even a PhD if you're that faithful. And they could take your hand and gently guide you down the rabbit hole. It's never ending though. And you'll get so angry that they never told you anything about any of this. They told you nothing at all. I bet you felt so safe trapped in those four tall walls. Academic intelligence means absolute nothingness when faced with the wild winds of the universe. People speak nonsense about being on top of this non-existent food chain. But if you woke up the next day to a hungry lion with just your bare arms, the human would humble himself. The ego could dissolve and crumble. Why? Because in the real world, the metropolitan man would not survive. Women have forgotten how to give birth. The pain I feel as I stand witness to mothers on drugs, unconscious to the magic and divinity of bringing a newborn into this realm. Women are in fear of being a woman. When I give birth, I'll be with nature and the elements. Can you feel the millennia of oppression yet? Let's have a cup of tea and ease into this. Let's talk about holocausts. Because our animals are the ones experiencing the biggest torture, you see. I'm not sorry if you feel uncomfortable. I am present. I'm a guardian. I will always be a voice for the voiceless. Your fear of responsibility could never excuse this. Your fear of this strong position could never restrict or inhibit what's limitless or freeze this need for truth to speak. My ego doesn't expand large enough to ever put myself above another sentient being. Where is your love? You know, it's really twisted if we really tap into this. Comparing how many humans were killed during Hitler's reign, the same amount of animals are killed every 4 hours. But hey, this could even make a vegetarian feel uncomfortable with their plate of cheese. The animal may not have been killed for you, but please listen. No animal industry escapes torture ever. Buying free-range organic is only changing one form of abuse for one that's slightly better. Still, we're painting the planet red. Imagine it like this. First class, second class, and third class prisons instead. How are you holding up with your margarita pizza, my friend? Some people view me as extreme, but I'm just perceiving the depth of our reality. I used to get frustrated. Some people can't handle the things I say. Maybe even I grew doubtful of myself. Nevertheless, it grew ever more apparent that their brains have been trained this way. That when the truth is given to a person who is so restricted within themselves, it doesn't compute. So when I offer freedom, they're still compelled to get angry at me for attempting to change their surroundings. They would rather sit comfortably with the choices that's causing them cancer. So when the soul is entrapped within the corners of himself, like a gerbil moving in circles on his running wheel, when everything is pitch black and there's no air to breathe and the human body has become weak and stiff, when a human's life is running on repeat like a really bad lucid trip, when this person marches backwards and forwards shooting complaints about their suffering, I come along and I bear witness to my buoyancy and its everlasting energy, of which I expand, express, and share never-endingly. I give you keys to awaken to your infinity, and it's a sorry sight to see you throw them afar and barricade yourself deeper within your own limits, of which you are your own guard to your imprisonment. I can feel the gravity of your self-perpetuating suicide that is chained to your ankles and feet and choking your mind. I bear a light so you can recognize the shadows in your realm, so you could finally take the driver's seat, drive your own ship, and master yourself. Design your life the way you wish it to be. Remember those dreams of your child self innocently, and not become carried away with your entanglement. Hard and cold like concrete, rigid like walls and buildings, grey like the weather in England. I'll remind you of all the colours within your being. Remind you of all the magical harmonies our souls are really singing. I'll teach you the mantra to break the mold and break the habit. For the most ridiculous, insane concept I exhibit is the one I find locked within the human population, where a person is proud to be stubborn. Pride seeped in like a curse and wrapped itself tightly, standing firm as a person's own detriment, disguised itself disastrously. So a person is ignorant to the truth. That being stubborn will cause your own death. Alas, I sit comfortably, for it would appear that this world will always outdo my own insanity.